ladies and gentlemen. For those of you that can understand English and Japanese, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Mr. Firmin Gagnère. He is an eminent local historian, while I'm president of the Association for the Restoration of the Paintings and other treasures to be found inside our beautiful church of Saint-Bonnet-le-Château in France. Today, we are extremely lucky to welcome this sort of Japanese fairy, Yuko Katsutani, who in 2012 and 2013 looked at the magnificent paintings in our crypt. They inspired her to undertake with great success her historical doctoral thesis on the musical angels and holy paintings that you can see around us. I hope that people from Japan and other countries who visit France will stay for a while in our small town to admire these true masterpieces. Now I have the great pleasure to introduce Dr. Yuko Katsutani.
Hello everyone, I'm Yuko Katsutani, an art history researcher in France. Today, I stand in the Loire chapel of Saint-Bonnet-le-Château, the collegiate church, the subject of my doctoral dissertation. Saint-Bonnet-le-Château is situated approximately 70 km southwest of Lyon in the Forest Mountains. Perched at a hill, the collegiate church, surrounded by houses and ramparts, under the town was a medieval charm. In 1400, an extension was added to the church, featuring 12 scenes depicting the life of the Virgin Mary and the Christ on the wall of this Loire chapel. The evangelists are depicted on the vaulted ceiling's 4 compartments in the apse, set against a red background adorned with black 3-leaf clovers. Each, at his desk, with respective symbols, the legendary lights, the Gospels. The order is Matthew, John, Mark, and Luke. Their tools, including quills, scissors, rulers, candle snuffers, and ink pots, are meticulously detailed. The Annunciation is depicted on one of the choral panels, featuring a light background and positioned southeast, flanking a window. The Virgin, in her chamber, occupies the left side, while the Archangel Gabriel is on the right. Gabriel is clothed in a white, richly gold-embroidered cloak, and his wings, resembling peacock feathers, are extensively spread out. The scroll emerging from his mouth carries the Latin inscription: Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. The Virgin stands between an armchair and a lectern, upon which rests a book. She raises her left hand to her head and turns toward Gabriel, listening to his words. With her right hand, she points to the text from the Gospel of Luke. Behold, I am the handmaid of the road. Let it be done to me according to thy word. The Annunciation to the shepherds is depicted on the ceiling of the corridor connecting the south entrance to the chapel. The original southwest curve had faded, revealing an ochre undercoat on a red background. An angel holds a phylactery inscribed with, I bring you good tidings of great joy. Today, Christ is born for you. From a nativity hymn. To the right, a shepherdess in a black veil holds a spool of thread with a male shepherd leaning on his cloak in front. On the left, another shepherd holds a bagpipe. The tympanum features a dead tree as the center, flanked by a young and an old sheep on either side, positioned at two facing each other. On the ceiling of the northern passage, opposite the Annunciation of the Shepherds, a scene depicting how is painted. Due to deterioration, only faint traces of paint remain on the ochre base. Yet, it is evident that this section was originally on a red background. As the bird's apex, a grotesque face hemorrhage is illustrated, appearing to swallow up sinners. Nearby, demon cast sinners into a fiery cauldron. Returning to the south wall, here we see the depictions of the Nativity and the adoration of the kings. The Virgin is elegantly seated, her upper body resting on a bed. She cradles Jesus in her left arm while extending her right hand to receive a linen cloth from a wise woman. Jesus, nestled in the bosoms embrace, reaches out to grasp a cup offered by one of the kings from her arm. An elderly king kneels before the Holy Family, presenting a cup with his right hand and tenderly holding his one crown with his left. He can be identified as Balthazar, marked by the initials B and T in gold on his orange robe. Beside him stands Melchior, adorned with the letters M and CH on his attire. Depicted as a middle-aged man with blonde hair, he faces the viewer, left hand clutching a cap while his right hand points toward the guiding star that had led them to this moment. Gaspar, portrayed from behind, is depicted as a young man of African descent. The horse's that likely bore the three kings, dressed in regal attire, are embellished with exquisite decorations. The people who accompany them discreetly linger behind their houses. The intricate details of their costumes, including helmets, bonnets, Frisian headwear, and ornaments resembling lustre heads, along with brimless hats that signify social status and professions, pique one's curiosity. Those in the background appear to gaze in the direction indicated by Melchior, toward the ceiling where the musician angel are depicted. On the opposite side, Joseph tends to a bonfire heating milk. A jug and glasses are neatly arranged on a small piece of furniture. In the distance, the heads of a donkey and an ox make their appearance. The crucifixion is depicted on the north wall of the apse. Water has infiltrated the base of the walls due to the vertical position of the building on the slope, altering the lower colors. The scene shows Christ on the cross as the center of a large composition populated with numerous characters. Against a golden background, his silhouette and those of the others crucified figures stand out. He appears rigid, his head inclined, eyes closed, with blood flowing from wounds. Mary Magdalene embraces the base of the cross where Adam's skull rests, to our left, and to Christ's right. The soul of the good thief is impressed by a white angel, while the bad thief, distinguished by his thick black beard, is seized by a black devil. In contrast to Christ, these two are attached to their crosses in twisted postures. On the left, the balsam pearl with open arms points supported by St. John, while the holy woman appears to console her. Another figure in prayer completes the group. Behind them, a crowd of children wearing robes and soldiers' thrones are mounted, Pharisee with a heart, reassuring them. At the bottom, two figures converse. In the lower right corner, an executioner, soldiers, horses, and individuals in Oriental attire are visible. A man wearing an Eastern-style tall hat points towards Christ. A rider in an adorned blue jacket could be the centurion. Next to him, an elderly Jewish man with a long white beard and a rib complexion adorned with a decorated white hood, displays various golden emblems. The rest of the space is occupied by conversing soldiers. The lower part once displays the spectators, including one in a red hat. Above the crucifixion, in the broad compartment, 6 angels hover and mark the death of Christ. They move against a red background adorned with 3-leaf black clovers, identical to that of the 4 evangelists, symmetrically distributed into 2 groups of 3. The angels in the left and right walls interact in pairs, both in terms of their silhouettes and sizes. However, distinct care and variation in gestures or postures distinguish them individually. The entombment of Christ depicted on the northern side wall near the crucifixion under the vault of the weeping angels has experienced moisture damage similar to the adjacent wall, positioned on a northward incline. The chapel's original painting has significantly deteriorated. In the 17th century, a new layer portraying the same scene was added. Today, these 2 layers exist as mere vestiges of the original masterpiece. Only a few vestiges remain, yet these are enough to disclose Christ's emaciated figure, marked by a pronounced brow, a kempt hair, a soaring abdomen, and a raised right hand. His mother tenderly kissing the cheek of his anguished body stands beside him. Behind them, one can discern a woman with curly blonde hair beneath a veil, another veiled lady among 3 additional veiled women, and finally a gentleman adorned with the Eastern-style hat. On the north wall, adjacent to the entombment, we find the portrayal of Pontius Pilate, the Pharisees, and the soldiers. According to the Gospel of Matthew, the chief priests and the Pharisees approached Pilate, requesting that he oversee the sepulchre until the 3rd day, fearing that Christ's disciple might remove his body. A soldier held a banner bearing the inscription in Latin, "Lord, order to guard the sepulchre until the 3rd day." Pilate, donning a tall hood and adorned in a red cloak embellished with a band embroidered with the golden letters Pilates, is flanked by 2 Pharisees who pressed upon him. His response was another phylactery displaying the inscription, "Go, guard it." Facing them, 4 soldiers received the directive to watch over the tomb. The first soldier, shown head on, fixed his gaze on the viewer, his stare intensified by the presence of another soldier's lens, partially obscuring his face. In contrast, the others are depicted in profile, unlike the first. The appearance of Christ to Mary Magdalene graces the rear of the choirs, framing the window above the altar in a configuration reminiscent of the Annunciation. Christ, positioned on the left, dons a broad violet robe embellished with gold, bearing his bodily sidearms. In his right hand, he claps a cross bearing a banner and extends the stigmata on his left hand toward Mary Magdalene. His right shoulder ring seamlessly integrates him into the scene. Across from him, Mary Magdalene kneels in prayer at the base of a tree, clutching her perfume jar. Draped in a red gown and a blue cloak adorned with golden embroidery. Her curly blonde hair is bathed in white. The setting, conveyed by a simple brown floor against a red backdrop, evokes a sense of space. We now face the scenes of the Virgin in glory, encompassing her Assumption and Coronation. These narratives unfold on the right and on the west wall. Let's first explore the latter, following a reverse chronology. At the heart of the scene, the Virgin receives a crown from the hands of angels. In the checkered floor space with a red background adorned with golden lilies, 3 angels sing the antiphon: Ave Regina Coelum, Hail, Queen of Heaven, as indicated by the phylactery. The nearly voided effigy of Christ in majesty contrasts with a virgin who stands waving her clean seat to approach her son. Her hands on her chest and her head inclined in humility. 2 very visible angels stand at her sides. To the right, a trio of angels plays sounds or trumpet. The celestial scene is enclosed by a crenulated door. Outside this enclosure, on each side of the lunette, are the scenes unfold. To the right, in the damaged area, Saint John the Baptist, with a lamb on his shoulder, points to the coronation and gently touches Jean Glazet in profile with joined hands. On the left, 3 donors are depicted praying in front of a paradisiacal turret. From right to left are Guillaume Taillefer, Bonnet Glazet, and his wife or daughter, who were protected by Saint Catherine, shown with a field and sword. Saint Peter, with the key in hand, guards the entrance, with Saint Michael stands holding a balance and a banner, defending the space. Another individual, presumed to be an important donor but absent from this decor, is Anne Dauphine of Auvergne, Countess of Forez and wife of Duke of Bourbon, Louis II. He himself contributed significantly to the financing of the new church through numerous donations. Against a starry blue background, 8 angels play various musical instruments arranged on either side of the quadra. Other angels gathered in two groups at the top sing with open mouths presenting musical text. To the east, three angels hold a phylactery with the glory for the feet of the Virgin. To the west, three angels display the introit Gaudemus Omnes in Domino from the Assumption Mass. In the center, the shield of the Dukes of Bourbon, carried by two dogs, and surrounded by two breaths of hope. Each musician angel is associated with a bird. Anne Dauphine's donation financed the decoration after her husband's death in 1410. She commissioned the belt of the Order of Hope, founded by Louis II, and the arms of the Bourbon family with musical angels. These angels evoke the Assumption Mass, paying tribute to Louis II of Bourbon's Marian devotion. Vobis, the painter of these murals, was born in Avignon, trained as a miniaturist in Paris, likely in the artistic mill around the Duke of Berry. He traveled to Savoy before arriving in Saint-Bonnet-le-Château. Since arriving in France, I have traveled throughout Europe to study the journey, training, and career of this painter. My field and documentary research have enlisted the analysis of the decoration in Saint-Bonnet-le-Château, detailed in my book. Les peintures murales de Saint-Bonnet-le-Château, le problème dévotionnel et dynastique. This work, illustrated with color photos, explores the devotion and the spirituality behind the decoration of this chapel. I invite you to discover the beauty of these murals through my book and on site.